Hello, I'm going to talk to you today about thinking. When it's your go, how do you spend your time thinking? And there's some players are good at this, some players not so good. And this is something, a little framework and a way to remember, a mnemonic to help you remember what steps to go through when it's your turn to go. And so it's how to think, it's thinking with a C. As my dad say, think or swim, sink or swim. Each of the letters THINC stand for a different idea, and you should think about all of these things in order when it's your go. And it may be actually you'll get to the first one and then you'll know what to do straight away. But the things to think about are T stands for threats. Now, not your threats, they're your opponent's threats. What's the point of your opponent's last move? Do you have to defend? If your opponent hasn't got anything threatening to do to you, it may be that you've got something that you can do to them. So those are your hopes. So first you think about your opponent's threats, then you think about your hopes. And if there's no crash bang wallop on the board to do, then you think about, well, how to improve your position. And so that's improvements, THI. And then you choose a move. But you don't just say, oh, I know what to do. Well, think about all the moves that might help you improve your position and then pick one of those. So that you need to be a bit more organised there. And lastly, once you've got a move, you then need to check it. Once again, go back and think of what your opponent's threats might be. Now, you've already done that, but after you move, things have changed. So you need to check again. So to go through those more slowly, the first thing that you need to think about are your opponent's threats. You must see that if your opponent has got a threat, and before you choose a move, and if they have got a threat, you need to find a way of meeting that threat with the ABCD system. If your opponent doesn't have a threat, then you might do. You've got something that you might hope to do, and perhaps you can take a piece for nothing or something, but it's only safe to do that if you know you can cope with your opponent's threats. If there's nothing that your opponent's doing, there's nothing that you're doing, then you can look for a way to improve your position. And that's a hard thing that I'll talk more about later sometimes. But basically, a nice idea to think about how to improve your position is pick whichever one of your pieces is working least hard, your laziest piece. Maybe it's doing nothing, maybe it's still asleep on its home square. Maybe it's just not involved in the right part of the chessboard. So to improve your position, pick on your laziest piece and get it working harder for you. Perhaps put it towards the bit of the board that you're interested in, or just move it towards the centre. And then to choose a move, think about all the moves that are good for your side, that help you do what you want to do, and then pick one of those. It's so often the case that youngsters who like playing fast and they like being lively, they just look at a chessboard, oh, that's the right move, I'll do that. And no, there's very often the case that there's something better to do. So think twice. Look before you leap is the best chess proverb, I think. So no need to jump into things and decide on your move straight away. Have a little look around. Oh, that's not bad. I'll think about that one as well. And then you choose from a list of moves. And lastly, once you've got your next move, once you move, things change. So check. You must check to make sure that after you move, that there's, if anything as bad is going to happen, so have you just given your opponent a big chance to do something terrible to you? So that's how to think. When you get better at chess, these sorts of steps, these sorts of ideas, they start to happen naturally. You don't have to remember to do them, but certainly when you start out, you do. And perhaps the best way to improve all of these things is to try and practice one at a time. So if you can play a whole game where every single move you look for your opponent's threats, that would be great. And then when you know that you can't, that you're not going to overlook any of your opponent's threats that they can make straight away, well then you can start adding in your own hopes and make sure you don't miss any of those, and so on, so that it sort of builds up, and so that it becomes more automatic and you don't have to go through the but to start off with, perhaps you do. Anyhow, hope you got something out of that. See you next time.